And our countrymen could not even do so much for me as to say to the American people that I was a real sannyasi and no cheat, and I represented the Hindu religion. Even this much, the expenditure of a few words, they could not do. Bravo, my countrymen. My greatest fault is that I love my country only too well.
Swami? Swami, do Indian mothers really throw their babies to the crocodiles?
Yes, ma'am. They threw me in. But like your fabled Yona, I got out again. How many of you have read the sacred books of the Hindus and therefore have the first-hand knowledge of the religion? Please raise your hands. And yet, you dare to judge us? I'm a rather plain-spoken man, but I mean well. I want to tell you the truth. I'm not here to flatter you. That is not my business. If I wanted to do that, I would have opened a fashionable church in Fifth Avenue, New York. You are my children. I want to show you the way out of self to God by pointing out to you your errors, your defects, and your vanities. Everything that has selfishness as its basis, competition for its right hand, and enjoyment as its goal must die sooner or later. If you want to live, go back to Christ. Go back to Him who had nowhere to lay His head. Better be ready to live in rags with Christ than to live in palaces without Him. If I only had one man with some true abilities and brains to back me in India. I don't care what even my own people say about me in Calcutta, except for one thing. I have an old mother. She has suffered much all her life, and in the midst of all, she could bear to give me up for the service of God and man. But to have given me up, the most beloved of her children, her hope to live a beastly, immoral life in a far distant country, as Mazumdar was telling in Calcutta, would have simply killed her. I was never a missionary, nor ever would be one. My place is in the Himalayas. I can with full conscience say, my God, I saw terrible misery among my brethren. I searched and discovered the way out of it, tried my best to apply the remedy, but failed. So thy will be done. A huge locomotive has rushed on over the line. A small worm that was creeping on one of its rails saved its life by crawling out of the path of the locomotive. Yet, this little worm, so insignificant that it can be crushed in a moment, is a little something. While this locomotive, so huge, so immense, is only an engine, a machine. Every moment I expected something from India. No, it never came. I was in torture at every moment. No, not even a newspaper from India. Waited months after month. Nothing came, not a voice. It is a punishment for relying upon man. I committed a terrible error of calculating upon others' help once in my life, and I have paid heavily for it. My religion is to learn. I read my Bible better in the light of your Bible, and the dark prophecies of my religion become brighter when compared with those of your prophets. It was my fault. I have launched my boat in waves, come what may. Uttishtata, Jagrata, Prapyavaran, Nibhodata. Through the vistas of the past, the voices of the centuries is coming down to us. The voices of the sages of the Himalayas and recluses of the forests. The voices that came down to the Semitic races. The voice that spoke in the Buddha Detroit lecture. I got $900. That is 2,700 rupees. In other lectures, I earned in one $2,500, that is rupees 7,500 in 1 hour, but got only $200. I was cheated by a roguish lecture bureau. Only about $3,000 remains. I don't know what I'm going to do next.
চলো নিজ নিকেতনে মন চলো নিজ নিকেতনে
The Calcutta meeting held in the honor on 5th September 1894. The president was the chief nobleman of Calcutta, and the other man, Mahesh Chandra Nyayaratna, is the principal of Sanskrit College and chief of Brahmin in all of India. I've gained beyond expectations. The prophet has been honored with a vengeance. What a rogue am I that in the face of such mercies, the faith taught us. There is a God, a father, a mother who never leaves her children. Never, never, never. A good news after a long interval. They call me illustrious, wonderful, and all sorts of nonsense. But they forward to me the gratitude of the whole nation. I'm weeping like a child at his mercy.
Sorry, Swami.
I got vexed at getting loads of newspapers from India. I had to write to them to stop sending those newspapers. Now they will write what I ate on such and such a date and how I sneezed. It was all my foolery. Oh, Arasinga. If people in India want me to keep strictly to my Hindu diet, then please tell them to send me a cook and money enough to keep him. This silly bossism without a mite of help make me laugh. And on the other hand, if the missionaries are telling that I have broken 2 vows of sannyasa, chastity and poverty, then tell them they are big liars. I've been asked again and again in the letters from India to go over. I have no idea when I go back. But I've seen enough of this country, I think. So I will go to Europe, a few months work in England, and then I'll go back to India and hide myself for a few years. Or forever.
Sorry, Swami.
It's a queer life, mine. No rest. Rest will be my death. मुझे मरने के लिए भी फुर्सत नहीं. I have no time even to die.
Swami.
I long for my rags, my sleep under trees, and my food from my begging.
Come on, Swami. Get up.
I work, earn my own bread, and help my country.
My success is due to my
Okay,
popular
finish on
style. The greatness of a teacher consists in the simplicity of the language. Simplicity is the secret. My ideal of language is my master's language, most colloquial, yet most expressive. I direct my attention to the individual, to make him strong, to teach him that he himself is divine. That is really the ideal, conscious or unconscious, of every religion. I'm prepared to follow any course that are open, to attend meetings in people's drawing rooms or elsewhere, to answer letters or discuss personally.
It is taught in the West that society began some 1800 years ago with the onset of the New Testament. But it is not true as regards the whole world.
But why didn't your rishis come to England to teach us?
Because there was no England to come to. Would they come and preach to the forest?
Oh, yes.
I propound a philosophy which can serve as a basis to every religious system in the world. And my attitude towards them is that of extreme sympathy. My teaching is antagonistic to none. I form no sect or organization. I know very little, and that little I teach without any reserve. My teaching is my own interpretation of our ancient books, in the light of which my master shed upon them. I claim no supernatural authority. Whatever in my teaching may appear to the highest intelligence and be accepted by thinking men, the adoption of that will be my reward.
Swami. Masala. I don't know what you put into it. I don't know what you prepared. They are all waiting for a long time.
Come on, George. Come on. Let me. Smells good. I made a dish. It's a delicious mixture of saffron, lavender,
very
maize,
nice, very
cubebs, cinnamons, cloves, cream, cardamoms, lime juice, onions, almond, pepper, and raisins and rice. Please.
Wow.
My plan, as I was saying, is to start 2 centers in India. My interests are international, not Indian alone. At 20 years of age, I was the most unsympathetic, uncompromisingly fanatic. I would not walk on the footpath on the theatre side of the streets in Calcutta. But now, at 33, I can live in the same house with prostitutes and never would think of saying a word of reproach to them. Is it degenerate? Or is it that I'm broadening out into the universal love, which is the Lord Himself? Bold words, bolder deeds. That's what we want. I myself couldn't eat it. There was no asafoetida.
Pardon me?
Asafoetida. Hing.
Hang.
Though it would have made it easier to swallow. I've been asked many times, Swami, why do you laugh so much and make so many jokes? I become serious sometimes when I have a stomachache. Sometimes people speak out to my face, Swami, you're a priest. You should not be laughing and making so many jokes like ordinary men. Such levity does not look good on you. To which I reply, we are children of bliss. Why should one look somber and miserable? If one who lives in Lord becomes miserable, what is the use of living in Him? What is the use of such a God? Throw Him overboard into the Pacific Ocean. We do not want Him. Three more lectures and my London work are finished for this season. Dear Lord says, start for old India. And I obey.
আমার মা ত্বম হি তারা আমি জানি গো দিন দয়াময়ী তুমি দুর্গমেতে দুঃখ হরা আমার মা ত্বম হি তারা
I was asked by an English friend on the eve of my departure, Swami, how do you like now your motherland after 4 years' experience of the glorious, luxurious, and powerful West? I said to him, India I loved before I came away. Now, the very dust of India has become holy to me. The very air is now to me holy. It is now the holy land, the place of pilgrimage, the Tirtha.
Swami Vivekananda ki! 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 Swami Vivekananda ki!
Bold has been my message to the people of the West. Bolder is my message to my beloved countrymen. We all hear so much about the degradation of India. There was a time when I also believed in it. But today, standing on the vantage ground of experience, I confess in all humility that I was wrong. For the last 1,000 years or more, you are told that you are weak, you're nobody, you're good for nothing, and you have come to believe yourself such. When a man has begun to hate himself, the last blow has come. When a man has begun to be ashamed of his ancestors, the end has come. Here am I, one of the least of the Hindu race, yet proud of my race, proud of my ancestors. I'm proud to call myself a Hindu. I'm proud that I'm one of your unworthy servants. I'm proud that I'm a countryman of yours, you, the descendants of the sages, of the most glorious rishis the world ever saw. Therefore, have faith in yourselves. By the grace of the Lord, those who look down upon us as weak and low regard me as their teacher.
Swami Vivekananda ki! 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 Swami Vivekananda ki!
I bequeath to you, young men, this sympathy, this struggle for the poor, the ignorant, the oppressed. Go now this minute to the temple of Parthasarathi, and before him, who was a friend of the poor and the lowly cowherds of Gokula, who accepted the invitation of a prostitute in preference to that of nobles and saved her in his incarnation as Buddha. Hey, down on your faces before him and make a great sacrifice. The sacrifice of a whole life for them. When I see Indians dressed in European apparels and costumes, the thought comes to my mind. Perhaps they feel ashamed to own their own nationality and kinship with the ignorant, poor, illiterate, downtrodden people of India. Westerners have now taught us that those stupid, ignorant, low-caste millions of India, clad only in a loincloth, are non-Aryans and therefore no more are kith and kin. Oh India, with this slander of others, with this base imitation of others, with this dependence on others, this slavish weakness, would thou with these provisions only scale the highest pinnacle of civilization and greatness? What can you expect of a race which for hundreds of years has been busy discussing such momentous problems as whether we should drink a glass of water with the right hand or the left? What more degradation can there be than that the greatest minds of a country have been discussing about the kitchen for several hundreds of years, discussing whether I may touch you or you touch me, and what is the penance for this touching.
Swami Vivekananda ki! Swami Vivekananda ki! Swami Vivekananda ki! Swami Vivekananda ki!
In America, beds are very cozy and soft. But there have been many nights when I could not sleep on those soft beds, thinking of the extreme poverty of my own people. I have spent nights on the floor thinking without any sleep or rest. Well, if I have a mind, I can sit up in Samadhi in a Himalayan cave. Why then don't I do so? And why am I here? Only the sight of the country's misery and the thought of its future do not let me remain quiet anymore. Feel, therefore, my would-be reformers, my would-be patriots. Do you feel? Do you feel that millions and millions of the descendants of the gods and of sages have become next-door neighbors to brutes? Do you feel that millions are starving today and millions have been starving for ages? Does it make you restless? Does it make you sleepless? Has it gone into your blood, coursing through your veins, becoming consonant with your heartbeats? Has it made you almost mad? Are you seized with that one idea of the misery of ruin? And have you forgotten all about your name, fame, your wives, your children, your property, and even your own bodies? Have you done that? That is the first step to become a patriot. The very first step. I was one man in America and another here. There, first they ill-treated me as if I had not my trousers on. I would not be admitted to a decent hotel. Here, the whole nation is looking upon me as their authority. Here, princes draw my carriage. These feet have been washed, wiped, worshipped by descendants of kings. There has been progress through the country, which none ever commanded in India. Shiva. By the way, I'm glad to find that I'm aging fast. My hair is turning grey in bundles, and my face is getting wrinkled up all over. Losing flesh has given me 20 years of age more. It is bad for a preacher to be young, don't you think so? I do. People have more confidence in an old man, and it looks venerable. Yet, the old rogues are the worst rogues in the world. Oh, thou white hair, glory unto thee. Hallelujah. The result of this steady, tremendous work on a Bengali constitution is diabetes. It is a hereditary foe and is destined to carry me off, at best, in a few years' time. Eating only meat and drinking no water seems to be the only way to prolong my life. No bread, no rice, no potatoes, not even a lump of sugar in my coffee.